click the Go Live button. I always forget the fact that the scheduling a stream doesn't actually go live. It doesn't actually trigger to go live when you actually go live. You have to say, I'm going live, and then go live. There's buttons, so many buttons and levers and things like that you have to push. The joy of being a streamer. In any case, hello, YouTube. I exist. I am out here. Um, the so basically we are basically this is going to be a game stream because normally basically this is our basically we are the basically I'm Mark Delacroix. I am the lead product lead for LoreLink. I normally basically this channel is basically used for going through and talking about basically TTRPG products and looking at them and showing off how LoreLink, our campaign management tool system, can be used to develop, design, and basically creatively and manage your TTRPG campaigns, whatever they may be. However, basically, rather than go through all that, we're taking a slight break around Gen Con, one of our busiest times of the year. We just got done. We just survived thanks to the awesome the awesome LoreLink convention crew. Shout outs to all of those who managed to make it there and helped out on the booth. Thank you. I know Tony was one of those. Thank you for sacrificing your time to help man that booth, basically, as well as Mike and others. And basically, hopefully, you got a chance to stop by the booth and see the product demoed, possibly getting a sanity. It's always questionable whether or not you have that to actually sacrifice to start. Let's be honest. You've worked on this project long enough. That kind of just is an assumption has kind of started going by the wayside. Hopefully you got to stop by the booth, got a chance to demo the product, got a chance to pick up some of the swag we had there. Hey, Wolf Mom, glad to have you. And of course, basically, hopefully you caught the announcement that we are starting to exit early access, meaning the fact that we now have World Tier. The free tier of LoreLink is now available to all who want to basically go to app.lorelink.com slash create dash account, or just go to app.lorelink.com and click the create an account button right there on that page, and you will be taken directly to basically take it to a create account page, and then you'll be allowed to create basically your first campaign. It's the basic version of LoreLink, but it is now available to the public. So that's fine. I thought about basically talking about it, but I'm like, it slipped my mind once I actually got into the green room for this. So not a problem. In any case, so basically all that to say it's been a very exciting several couple of weeks. Basically, we've been doing a lot of pushing to get everything done and in. And basically, I'm very grateful to the LoreLink dev team, Martine and Mike, and basically our QA department as well. I say QA department like they're a whole team of them. There is one person in particular who is a very awesome individual who did a great job of basically getting all of that tested, basically handling all the stuff that we threw at them and testing it. So I'm very grateful to them for giving us a good chance of actually having a launch that didn't just immediately explode as soon as we poked at it. So, always support your QA team. They are incredibly, incredibly useful individuals. In any case, so what am I doing? As you can see by these things, which are, I always forget which way to point. Over there. Today we're going through some of the old SSI SSI D&D games. For those who don't know, either because you weren't old enough basically to experience this joy, or otherwise were interested in other types of computer games and video games during this era. During the 80s and 90s, when D&D's first and second editions were making it big, basically making a big impact. Obviously, once computer games started making an impact, a lot of people are like, wow, I really want to take this cool D&D thing and put it into a computer game. And so they tried to. It varying degrees of success. Some of them turned out to be fairly solid games, which have stood the test of time. The Eye of the Beholder series is still one of the great kind of first-person dungeon crawl type games. Dungeon Hack is a really good D&D, um, basically roguelike, basically kind of first-person D&D roguelike. Um, the Gold Box series of Pool of Radiance and things like that were basically classics for me for growing up. Basically, they were hard but fun, basically fun interpretations of it. There were some lesser known ones like the Silver Box series, which is like what we were looking at this collection we're working on here today. Um, Basically, which captured a lot of the Dragonlance games, which, for those who don't know what Dragonlance is, Dragonlance was a series of books by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, who were at Gen Con. I actually walked past their booth a couple of times. It's great to see them. Awesome. Thank you, 20. Um, but yeah, so veritable rainbows and levels of success. Yeah. But so basically the Dragonlance books were basically for a lot of people they were their formative edition, basically experiences of a world basically of epic adventures in the D&D setting. They introduced characters such as you saw there, like Tanis Half Elven and Gold Moon and all of those, and Rastalin the Mage. Basically, back before we had actual plays, these were essentially novelization of actual plays. Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman based a lot of what they wrote into these Dragonlance books on their own groups running the adventures that they had written, the Dragonlance adventures that they had written. And so this was kind of, you got iconic characters and things like this. So this is kind of basically essentially the Critical Role of the day. And so a lot of basically, they were huge, since they were a big part of the D&D market, they tried to recapture that magic in computer game form. And so that's how you ended up with games like Heroes of the Lance, which was basically was a kind of an adventure game that you had on basically on the NES, I think, as well as being a computer game as well. To basically the Dragon Strike game that we played earlier on this stream, which was a early Dragon flight sim, kind of a 3D modeled flight sim game. And here, basically a lot of these games are not your typical like the Gold Box games, which is create your party, wander through a dungeon, basically do some turn-based combat, and then keep wandering through a dungeon. A lot of these are kind of different takes on them. Basically, this one, in fact, Shadow Sorcerer, the one we're starting with, is almost a basically my brain is just blanked. Command and Conquer is one of the early examples of that same genre, which is StarCraft, Command and Conquer. I can't believe RTS. There it is. Got it. Basically RTS games, and so you have basically you have a running clock, and in this game you're attempting to escort some refugees from point A to point B while keeping them safe from the evil hordes which will try to kill them. So we'll see how this works out. I have not played this before, so we will see how this plays. We do have manuals and hint books. Click mouse button to continue. Ensure numlock key is on. Huh. I looked down at my 10 keyless keyboard and say, well, we'll find out how that works out. The evil hordes of Draconians have completely conquered Pax Starkus, whose entire population they enslaved. You, the companions of the Lance, have freed the slaves and led them through the mountains, the gates, in search of a new home. Read Journal Entry 1 for further information. Basically, for those who don't know, basically, since space was at a premium in those days, oops, come back here. I want that. Clue book. Data card. Must be at the back of the rule book, probably. Let me show off what I'm looking at here. Manual. Oh, there we go. So you had a manual basically, and rather than dumping lots and lots of text into the game, they instead would dump lots and lots of text into a printed book, because the book basically printing was cheaper. Um, and so you can see our characters here: Tennis, the half elven, Rastalin, the magic user, uh, Caramon, Goldmoon, Stern, Brightblade, Tessel Barefoot, Riverwind, and Fireforge, Gilthanis, and Lorana. We also have Tika and Elston. Was that what? Oop. Am I ignoring Tony? What's its RTS stand for? Real time strategy game. Um, and I basically, well, no, it's definitely one of the, it was kind of funny because it's definitely one of the bigger genres as we were growing up during the 90s. You had basically a lot of the huge games were RTSs. Those are some of the, basically, those are similar to basically before FPSs took over the marketplace. Games like Warcraft 2, Command and Conquer Red Alert, um, were huge parts of the marketplace. And basically their those new games coming out, StarCraft, Age of Empires, yeah. But basically, they not only were they huge fun games, they were also games that you could play with your friends and compete against. They were some of the early, um, I would say, basically kind of esports essentially. Basically, first kind of early competitive type games where you would actually compete against your other. Yeah, they were still selling basically. They were still selling solidly into the early 2000s. And occasionally, you'll see a new one pop up, but. Oh, here we go. Journal entries. The story so far. The brooding hordes of Draconians completely... Basically, during the escape, the companions sealed the huge gates behind them, trapping the Draconians inside their own fortress. But it's only a matter of time before they break out. And when they do, they will demand a terrible price for the companions and the refugees. All right, here we go. And there we have our clock up here, which is ticking. So we need to get a move on. Oop. Excellent. We have gone to this place. I feel like we're in a turn-based, never know, in a turn-based combat. Yep, thank you. PDF. Go away. You're blocking the screen. Huh. Can I leave? Wrestling just wandered off. Bye, Wrestling. You must be with some refugees. Okay. Can't do anything with the refugees. Regroup. Basically, immediately resummons Rastalin back to the group. I have options. Magic. See. Examine. Take a pair of scissors. Do some cosplay. As one does. Alright. Moving equipment is very simple. Trade effect. The pull-down menus. Pull-down menu. Okay. This is definitely the era of games where you were like, what am I doing? Okay, well, what's up in the manual? Check it out. Defaults flee. Oops. Yep, you can. Let's pick tennis here. Maybe tennis can. This is once a misty, mighty highway lined with 10-foot stone columns. They are carved with dwarven runes you cannot read. You hope those overgrown and broken roads offer a fast route south. Yes, I would like to pick up that. I have picked up more arrows. Awesome. Let us move on. Oh, Russell, you're the last one here. Get moving. All right, I have moved on. Now I can look at the refugees, probably. Status. We have 800 refugees, 48 carts, transportation, probably, and 2,000 food. Okay, there's our full party. Oh, a chance encounter. Oh, okay, there's a bunch of Draconians coming. Can we pause? There we go. We can pause the game. Thank goodness. Oh, however, clicking on anything will immediately unpause the game. All right. All right, Sturm, do your job. That's Caramon, rather. They're wrestling. We don't need your help. Thank you. All right. We have beaten down a bunch of dragons. Woo! Draconians, rather. Sturm, go check out that tree. Oh, right-click this. The roadway continues to the east. To the left, a cleft in the cliff wall reveals a steep pathway widening up through the rocks. Thank you. Let's go. You can head out. Oh, there's a bow there. Just random loot lying all over the road. Go pick that up. This game has for all the very loud music that this game had to start. It feels like most of that music has dropped away. All right, let's try going this way. Keep up with let the refugees keep up with us. It is getting on towards dark. This bar, the furthest right screen represents basically represents midnight. All right. We are all in this music list. It's like that plot of that one Doctor Who adventure. All right. How do I get Rastlin to cast spells? That's what I'm looking for. It's the command option windows. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. You can give orders to heroes by clicking on the figure which represents him or her in the center of the screen. During an encounter, when you basically play a tactic window, you can give individual commands to a character. This opens a window with 9 icons by selecting an icon. Melee, range, cast spells, look, take, talk, walk, lead party, auto combat, and basically in regular. Okay. So let's up high. That felt rude. Let's sleep. There. Let's go with Cure Light Wounds on our poor guy who's catching fire and exploding. Caramon, if you would like to actually participate in this battle, it'd be greatly appreciated. Haha! We have figured out a bug in the AI. We will use this to our advantage. All right, let's do a little bit more healing before we leave the screen. No game sounds at all. The game audio is actually completely muted. Boop. All right, now you can hear the wonderful sound effects, but lack of music. I may turn the music. Basically, I may turn the streaming music back on here in a second. Cure Light Wounds. Yeah, basically, there is no sound in the game right now. So let's... There we go. Now we have... Now you have some great audio coming through. The path ends in a curious wall built against the base of a massive peak for which soars up into the mountain sky. From the top, you would be able to see for miles, but the mountain seems insurmountable. Let's check. Is this... Well, there was briefly game sounds, but now they are... The problem is this game has very intermittent game sounds. So it is hard to tell what is actually making sounds and what is, in fact, just being silent. Like right now, the game itself is silent, if you were wondering. However, like you can hear me, obviously. Basically, I'm presuming there'd be a lot more outrage and comments if they could not hear me. But I will turn up the game sounds, and we will see if we can't get it to actually register when game sounds actually occur. Right now we just have a blank wall. Oh, wait, darn it. I wanted to examine this. Like, right there you should have heard music playing for a brief bit. There we go. Music has been heard. You heard the brief music and then it goes away. In case you were wondering, it came and then it disappeared. I can detect invisible. Aha! We've detected an invisible staircase. The view from here is breathtaking, but enjoying the countryside is not the reason you're here. Boy, I'm glad I'm... Ooh, the Refugee Council is meeting. Do you wish to address them? Sure. You have chosen to speak to the council. In what fashion do you wish to address them? See Journal Entry 5 for advice. All right, now I have to pull up Journal Entry 5 really quickly. All right. Journal Entry 5. The Refugee Council. Since their escape at Pax Darkus, the refugees have formed a council to rule their actions. The 5 leaders are now debating and meeting to deliberate. You have been invited to address them to make your case for your plans. You sense there are differences among the council. Some of them are unsure you can find a safe haven in these uncharted lands. Lokar is the most openly hostile, but he is too cowardly to contradict you openly, and stays his spite for any comment offered by Elliston. Briar seems to follow him, though he also accepts the counsel of Goldmoon and Riverwind. He wants a simple, immediate solution. Goldmoon and Riverwind are the... they are painted as basically kind of an odd barbarian tribe, basically nomadic tribe, that basically happen to have 2 characters, Goldmoon and Riverwind, who happen to stumble upon the old gods and became basically the big story of Dragonlance's backstory is that the gods left. Basically, humanity, basically the planet pissed off humans in particular, let's be honest, managed to piss off the gods to the point where the gods are like, you know what, us being here just makes things worse and you guys are terrible, we're leaving, bye. And so basically big disaster happened and the gods just left. So everyone kind of went, well, the gods weren't doing us any good anyway, why do we care about them? Then things got bad and terrible and worse. And of course, the evil god went, well, maybe I can come back and basically mess things up. And the good god's like, fine, I will grant my powers to good people. And basically that's why Goldmoon and Riverwind got selected. And so they are bringing back the good gods, and there are evil people who are bringing back the bad gods, and all of them want dragons because dragons are cool to help them. So in any case, basically, he wants a simple, immediate solution. Brooklyn, too, has no time for complicated plans. His people are anxious and want a place of safety. Elliston listens quietly, as always. He trusts you more than any of the others. Evan also seems to hang on your every word. He has been your comrade in arms, but he is cautious. You must persuade them to have faith in your plan. What method will you use to get your point across? Entreat. You can try to convince them that they must continue or face the wrath of Verminard. Plea, basically, option 2, plea for loyalty. You can state your case as the ones who rescued them from slavery. They followed you then, therefore they should trust your judgment now. Reason. Logic dictates that returning to Pax Darkus is a bad idea. Goldmoon selected. River was the one who's following her, got the chieftain's daughter, so he followed. Move the PDF, please. Any particular place? I should move it to 2. I'm currently reading it. Logic dictates the trade has a bad idea, and standing still will only result in the deaths of many registries. Basically, many refugees. They basically, basically, I thought you're reading the game. No, this is basically the game has given us 4 options right here: entreat to actions, plead for loyalty, reason with them, threaten them, and use physical force. The guide gives you a little bit more about what each of those means. Reason, basically telling them, basically, hey, let's keep moving. Threaten images of death and tortures often work wonders to convince people that here is not a good place to be. Yet some leaders see beyond the rhetoric. And then there's a level beyond that, which is just sometimes the threat of people will get moving, but it only works on those very stubborn and troublesome. So we either can be like, hey guys, we need to keep moving, otherwise we're going to get murdered, or hey guys, we rescued you, and therefore we should keep moving because I say so. Or we could be like, hey, standing here is a bad idea. Basically, we're looking for basically a lot of the people we're looking for are just going with simple plans. And so I feel like going with option 3 is the best bet because it literally is just saying, well, we can't stay here, so we need to keep moving. And this could be like, no, basically you have to be loyal to us. It doesn't work on the people who don't like us anyway. So let's go with... Let's go with reason with them. Since their escape from Pack Darkness, the ex-slaves have formed a council to deliberate the events. It is meeting now to decide on how much to trust your advice. Hello, people. Refugees, vote to continue! Yay! That's a good sign, I guess. If they had voted to stay put, it would have been a really awkward end to our adventure. Lokar votes to leave refugees. Wow, Lokar, you could just go away. I guess, did he just leave then? Did we get rid of that guy? We've eaten a lot of our food. We have 667 refugees. Okay. Lokar is doing their own things and basically has taken people and some of our food with him. The jerk. I can't tell if that just means Lokar's... Alright, you know what? I've never healed. This might be a problem. Okay, so you are attempting to cast that, apparently. What's magic missile to that guy? Well, Tannis just died. Probably fine. Oh good, Sturm is actually attacking now. Huh? Let's throw some more magic missiles down there. Well, there goes Sturm. Things are not going well for our party here. How good are you at fighting? You have a stick. Not good. Not great. Rastalin's like, well, this sucks. Rastalin immediately goes, this is terrible, and immediately turns to the dark side. But the good news is, since everyone's gone, Rastalin is now free to fireball. Okay, I may have misjudged the distance needed on fireball. It's fine. It's fine. We like Sturm. Tasselhoff's fun. No one really liked Rastalin anyway. You know, he was kind of... Of course, you know, we may have just lost our good cleric, but... Do we have a cleric? Illistan's a cleric. Cool. Illistan, get in the party. Where'd Sturm go? There we go. Sturm, Riverwind, Illistan. Sure, it's fine. Okay, so they're... That group of refugees is going their own way. Hidden within the deep woods, you come upon a walled dwarven village. A guard at the gate challenges you, and you spot many of the soldiers lining the walls of the parapet. Hi, how you doing? Let's try to... Let's not send Tanis. That's Illistan. That's Riverwind. That's Sturm. Well, I guess we're stuck with Sturm. Oh, wait. I mean, Sturm's a sort of paladin. The guard, initially hostile, does not attack you once you explain who you are. Instead, he tells you that you have found the village of Mandar, and that if you go through the gate, you will be warmly welcomed. Cool. Let's go through the gate then. We'll send the Kender in first. Nothing will go wrong with this idea. You're granted access with the King of the Mandar Dwarves. What aid will you request? Choose one of the following. Refer to General Entry 6 for more information. Okay. Back up to the journal again. So, the Mandar village is well situated and stoutly defended. When they tell you they have lived through all the troubles which have plagued this land, you can well believe it. After a short delay, you are shown into the presence of the Mandar king, or in the case of Tasselhoff, bound, gagged, and dumped in front of the king. For those who don't know, Kender are ridiculous, are the original over-the-top choice of charismatic players. They are cute little childlike, a race of cute little childlike creatures, basically people who have no sense of fear, also have no sense of personal belongings. So things just kind of keep ending up in their possession. Like, they'll just wander through a room and pick something up, and if you didn't happen to say it wasn't theirs, because you didn't notice them taking it, because they're really good thieves, they'll just stick it in their pockets, and you'll find out weeks later when they're like, "Oh, hey, I've got a sword." Never played a Kender. Nope, not at all. Ooh. Kender basically, when well played, are ridiculously funny. Kender, when basically played by jerks, can be really annoying. Rest, and Adar will let you rest. Stay until the following dawn, and they will tend your wounds best they're able. Ask for food, and Adar are known for their kindness and the quality of their cuisine. Ask about the location of Thorbarden. They may have knowledge which can lead you in the right direction, or offer to do something for them, or just get out of town. All right, so let's see here. I mean, the party that is alive is fully healthy. So let's ask about where we're basically about the end game goal. Let's ask that. The king passes you a map. See journal entry 15. I just put away the map. Okay, fine. Thank you. Journal entry 15. The map shows the far southern lands and the impassable peaks between you and the dwarven kingdom of Thorvin. The passes, you are told, are sealed with great gates, which make those at Pax Tharkus seem insignificant. There seems no obvious way to go through the mountains. Thanks for handing me... You literally handed me a map which says you can't get there from here. Thanks. I'm glad you handed me that map. Very useful. But at least I know it's to the south. The king points to the bottom of the map. These mountains guard Thorvarden, and they are the tall and steep. The only way through them to Thorvarden is by finding the dwarf gates. Alas, I do not know where these can be found. Have a nice day. Oh, we can still keep talking to him. Thank goodness. Let's ask for food. Suddenly serious, Vador King warned you. There is much you should know. I don't have time to tell you all now. He gives you journal entry 9 and says sternly, read carefully. There's so much to talk about. I can't do it. Let the printed work. Oh, good morning. There's a lot of text in there. Woo. Okay, so journal entry 9. As you prepare to leave the Nadar village, the chieftain gives you some last advice. Though this land was once all part of the land of Thorbarden, there are many living there, many others living here now. The trolls in their caves, the lizardmen in the marshes. If there's a way through the southern mountains, it'll be difficult to find. Always look carefully, for the way that is hidden in the shadows at dawn may be easily revealed by the setting sun. Watch the location of secret doors and the way that the sunlight must hit them to be visible. Some of the old basically, so we're being told that basically that little timer at the top of the screen, which tells us what time of day it is going to be important for what time, basically when we can actually exit the map. Some of south of here are old dwarven mine workings. The Agar lived there. Be prepared for their basically. He gives you journal entry 9. Yep. Basically, the Agar lived there. Be prepared for their be prepared for their deception to be journeying into their caves. They are an irresponsible and untrustworthy lot. I like the fact that they're like untrustworthy. I can understand, but irresponsible. It's just like they just don't take good care of things. You know, they're terrible. Finally, I must warn you the dangers of the marshland and the skull-capped mountain. The guardian of the mountains is rumored to be the most dangerous indeed. Seek out the marsh warden. He knows the safe path through the marshes. Your wagons won't make it through the swamps. As for Skullcap, you must know that it is the tomb of the wizard Fistandantilus, who made war against the dwarves and built a great tower in which to breach the dwarf gates. But he was defeated and caused the tower to explode, destroying the armies of friend and foe alike. The shattered stump of the tower is that mountain that we call Skullcap. The shattered stump of the tower is that mountain we call Skullcap. You know how big a tower has to be that basically in order for its shattered stump to be a mountain? Wizards, man. Wizards. If you venture, you must venture near that terrible place. Take great care, for the legends of our people say that Fistandantil was not consumed by his own fires, but lives on. Thanks. All right. Anything else to add? Oop. I misplaced my cursor. There we go. Oh, he just does that. Oh, sure, we'll offer to help him. In a cave northwest from here, there is a hive of giant bees. The bees produce a kind of honey which we treasure dearly, but they are too many and too powerful for us to retrieve it. Please get it, and I shall reward you. See journal entry 60. Okay. You know, I'm not even going to show this one. I'm just going to read it. Hopefully it's short. Yes, it's short by comparison. The king leans forwards and beckons you near. The cave northwest of here. Yes, bees. Yes. The bees produce a sweet nectar, a royal jelly. It heals the sick, provides vitality to the aging. We need that nectar for our old, our sick, and our infants. You bring it to us. I promise that whatever food we can spare and all the food the bees have stored will be given to the refugees who follow you. Okay. You know what? Last we'll rest. Then we will leave. And then he gives me journal entry 9 again. Thanks. So the cave to the northwest. Alright, let's go looking for bees. Oh, hey, the dragons are starting to leave. The mountains rise up to the west, but the ground is still passable. Ahead, you see a cave, which curious buzzing sound echoes from its depths. I wish there was a good way of actually... Yep. There we go. Hey, I need you to... Well, those bees are easy to kill once you stab them. Well, farewell, Tasselhoff. You didn't last long against giant bees. Sorry to hear that. I also have no idea what stuff is in my inventory. It's just there. Like, is this a magic sword or is it just a sword? As far as I can tell, it's just a sword. Alright, Riverwind, let's go explore bees. I mean, they're giant bees. How hard could they be? Oh, okay, I'm going to need you all to work together on this whole walking thing. Most people are doing okay. Drop a bless. I mean, you're a ranger, which you're a first ed ranger, though, which means you're just as good with just about everything. Hey, you need to move forward. I need you to not be in the line of combat. There we go. Defeated bees. I do like the bees. They're basically really good at architecture, though. They're very, basically, it looks like they're very helpful. All right, let's go pick up stuff. We'll pick up green potion. Everybody loves a green potion. You know, it's really useful. I'm going to give you the green potion. Red arrows we'll give to Riverwind since he's a ranger. What if I give you this potion? Some of your wounds are cured. Yay! I'm glad that wasn't poison. Would have been really awkward otherwise. Looks like that rock is smoking. It's a random second looking for Simon game. Yeah. All right. Group move. I think this is what tells the entire party to leave. Yes. Haha! I'm slowly figuring this out. Sorry to the first party who had to deal with me not finding it out, and well, they all died horribly. Except for Rastalin, who blew himself up. Really, that was Rastalin's fault, not mine. Let's be honest. Oh, hi. Not a great position to have the cleric in front. Nope, cleric's dead. Well, this is fine. Can't bring anyone else in. Neither of you can cast spells, can you? No. I mean, you're a ranger? Well, no, you're a first edition ranger. Never mind. No one's carrying any potions on them, right? Nope. There are no items available. You can't look at that. That character is missing. Missing is a nice way to say stung to death by bees. May need to turn auto combat on. I still haven't reached the bottom of this dungeon, which doesn't bode well for this party. I wanted you to exit. Try exiting. It's a very nice wall you're looking at. Now you're looking at each other. It's very nice. What do you want me to? The joy of video games where you're like, what do you want me to click on? Exit. Stand in the corner. 100% what I was going for. Yes, I know there are no items. Thanks for asking. Hey! Sturm, buddy. Stop staring at the wall. Alright. Try walking here. Now walk here. There we go. Oh gosh, so many bees. Let's just turn auto combat on. See if that might resolve some of the problems. Auto combat means as soon as he reaches a certain point, Riverwind gives up and just hides in the corner. But good news is, I think that's the royal jelly. I have no way of identifying it. wonder if there's something in the manual about that. Pick up royal jelly. Anything interesting over here? Riverwind is just hiding in the corner. He's terrified of bees now. There are no items available. Riverwind is just the storm is just this room was guarded ferociously. The guard by who defended their queen to their death. Amongst the honeycombs, you find a small jar of royal Highland jelly, a delicacy among dwarves. Can I just exit the dungeon, or do I actually have to walk out? Apparently, I have to actually walk out. Riverwind, you're doing a great job, buddy. Don't let anyone tell you're doing anything wrong other than speed walking in the corner there. It's fine. Click on the secret sound. You click on it, goes on the mobile app. Yeah. I'm glad we're standing on the arrow, but that is not enough to leave. The fact that I wonder if the numpad helps with that. I bet you it does. I bet you the numpad translates to, because it's set in a set of 9. I bet you you're supposed to just press the numpad button, and they'll automatically do that. I'm gonna give that a try. Maybe if I just press the actual number, it'll do the same thing. Maybe it doesn't have to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go with 8. Nope. Maybe it wants insert or home. Oh, nope, that just moves the... I can make it move in a very interesting diagonal pattern. Apparently that's what the numpad does. It's if you don't have a mouse, you are forced to use that. But you are forced to click on the character in order to get them to actually do what you want. Under the character's picture is a set of commands. These are default commands using computers to control the hero in combat. By clicking on the relevant button, you can order a hero to adopt aggressively or cowardly tactics while under computer control. To keep placing hero under computer control during combat, click on the crossed swords icon next to that character's portrait. As a note, I have been reading this as a pair of scissors the entire time. Oh, you're right. Numpad does start from the bottom left, so it would be 1, 2, 3 if it was working that way. Good point. I've been reading that as a pair of scissors. It's actually supposed to be a pair of crossed swords. Is it, though? Is it? You spent way too much time prepping for cosplay. You're not wrong, but... Everyone exit. It's okay, just rub your face against that wall there. Now can I exit? I can! The Refugee Council is meeting. Do you wish to address them? Sure. You know what? I'm just gonna be like, hey dudes, it's great. We'll go up and treat to action. We just got a bunch of royal jelly. Oh, let's see here. The refugees vote to continue! Yay! Lokar is still voting to leave. Lokar, you're not even here anymore. How are you even voting? Get out. You're dead somewhere. Oh, I should rearrange the party at some point, but you know, we'll do that after resting here. Mosey on. Just take your time there, Riverwind. Thank you for bringing us this nectar. We did use it to make our royal jelly, a health ointment. In return for your bravery, we will deliver the food you found. We will deliver the food you found to the refugees. By the way, seek out the hidden temple of the dwarves. There the stone sage can advise you on the path to Zorvin. Do you want to give me a map or a marker, or just tell me there's a hidden temple out there? I'm going to rest because we're just about dead. Did not thought. What you should know about it. Here, have to stop handing me journal entry 9, sir. There are no clerics present. You're not wrong. They're all dead. Fine. Probably fine. Regroup? That just puts me back in here. Okay. I need to rejoin the rest of the group in order to reform my party. Apparently the gold group is the currently active group, and the silver group is the... Oh, did Jason Looker, did you show up again just to leave? Oh, come back here, you people. Alright, I'm curious if I put these people back in the party. It would be difficult to live safely here if anyone was looking for you. Thanks. No, I didn't. Oh, hey! Look who's back conscious. It's Riverwind. Okay, so apparently they do come back. Oh, my people just left again. Refugees. Move. Click to remove, basically, click to remove this message, then choose the visible hex. Go here. Ugh! We need to keep moving, people. Refugees vote to continue. Lokar votes to leave. Alright, everyone's here. Everyone? Come here? You must be with some refugees. I was with the refugees. Okay, they're good. You're all here. Great. Okay. Let's try resetting the party back to original statuses. Goldmoon, Rastalin, Caramon. And you know what? I prefer Sturm over Tannis. Tannis is always a little bit, a little bit too weepy and emotional. Darn half-elves. Alright. Ooh. I would like to rest. That did me no good. Okay, let's try heal. Your wounds are healed. Yay! There we go. Alright. Everyone is back up and ready to party. Now we just have to flee to the south. Whoop. Everyone exit. Alright. Oh boy, that's a lot of people who are trying to murder us. Well, there's a problem. Oh, good, they missed us. Refugees, where are you going? This cave entrance is virtually invisible until you run into it. The trees also hide a huge stone archway which carries the runic message. The outpost mines. Sure, what's the worst thing that could happen if we go into this place, right? Maybe there'll be some friendly but basically irresponsible dwarves ready to help us. Did you two seriously manage to... Brilliant. Geniuses. Every one of you. You're geniuses, every one of you. Yes, there you go. Okay. Figure it out. Figure it out, Sturm. Sturm, you can do it. I know you're a dumb fighter who really wants to be a paladin, but try harder. Welcome back, 20. All right. We've reached this point. We can now pick up green. Not sure if anyone actually has a bow in this group. Nope. Okay. All right, I need you to move as a group this direction. Huh, left, right, left, right, left, right. Very exciting room. All right. This is one of those dungeons I'm just going to get lost in. All right, can we defeat the biggest danger of this room? A doorway. All except Sturm. Sturm. Come on, boy. Figure it out. There you go. Hi. The Agar impressed you, Demeter, and you're granted an access with the audience with the king. It is apparent from the lights that the throne room lies behind the west door. Which way do you guys think is west? We're on an isometric plane. I'm going to guess this way is north. But no, I just came through. Okay, east. That would make this west. Unless that's north, in which case that's west. Can I examine the room and be able to tell which way west is? The Agar are poor relations of the Dwarven world, and this room is a tribute to their poverty and ignorance. This is the antechamber of the High Bulp, their ruler, but it boasts none of the trappings found in the royal chambers. Oh, I just realized who the Agar are. Okay. Apparently they're being much nicer and giving them basically their proper name as opposed to their in-universe name that they're mostly referred to as, which is Gully Dwarves. They are kind of the laughing stock of the book series, where they are basically where the Kender or childlike race who have the redeeming qualities of being a childlike race who happen to have no fear and are therefore excellent friends and loyal companions and just happen to also have no rules about possessions. The Agar or the Flip basically are a childlike race with none of that benefits. They're just a bunch of children that are wandering around as an entire society. And they are, yeah, one, two, more than two is basically their system of counting. They are mostly just a burden that has to be dealt with in the adventures. All right, let's try this as west, and we'll see if it's west. Rastalin, you're smarter than this. Who are these people? Ow. You jeer and taunt your enemy, they snarl back at you and attack. Okay, never mind. These people don't want to... Move out of the way, let the front line get in. Thank you. Okay. This apparently was not the front door. Can you guys figure out doorways? I'd be greatly appreciative if you guys could figure out a doorway. We're all going to just stare at this wall. I love that they just have random corridors. Like, I'm betting this is a trap of some sort. No, it's just a different colored tile. Perfectly normal. Will one of you make it out? None of you can make it out. Okay. I'm not certain how this works. Oh, wait. Ah, apparently we were just slightly off, and therefore everyone was each character was preventing the other characters from leaving. Yes, you doorknob of a kender is the this was one of the lines. It's the Flint and Tasselhoff are the much like Legolas and Gimli, basically enemies who end up coming to care for each other. Basically, frenemies who end up basically actually caring a lot about each other, and Flint becomes kind of the adopted father figure for the group. All right, hi, talk. The jeer and taunt you jeer and taunt your enemy. They snarl back at you and attack. What? Stop hitting. Stop. I don't want to jeer and taunt them. I wanted to talk to. Okay, goodbye. I don't know. I don't know what that was. Apparently that wasn't west either. I am very confused by the directional system of this game. There are no items available. Okay. Pick up the healing potion. Some of your wounds are cured. Excellent. Your wounds are healed. Awesome. So let's try the other doorway and see it that way as west. Though, since we just murdered a bunch of these people, I don't know how happy they're going to be to see us. Alright, let's try this direction. Enemies to friends at the end. It's less... Basically, it's less enemies and more it's just basically... He is too tired to deal with basically Tasselhoff's basically what Tasselhoff has to do, but he comes to realize that basically Tasselhoff actually does have a personality beyond just stealing everything that isn't nailed down. Okay. I don't know why you're getting exiting rooms are hard. Okay. There's an arrow on the ground here. It means I should be able to leave, right? Can you figure out how to leave a room? Can you do it? Today's challenge, leaving a room. Hmm. I'll click on the exact pixel, yes. I can click on this pixel, which takes me to there. Then I can't get him to... Is it locked? No, that's just... Hit. Like, normally clicking off the edge of the screen is how we get to leave. I wonder if we've somehow been locked out of the throne room because we murdered some Agar. Very well, there's more stuff to explore. If only you guys could figure out how this doorway works. Make me the happiest person in the world. There we go. We have a lot of attention. Company. Nope. 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 Hey, look at that. Well, no, that time they could merge together. It's fine. All right, let's just keep going this direction. See what happens. You almost figured out how to go. Huh, there we go. Slowly kind of figuring this out. This is a very big and empty dungeon. I expected more in this dungeon. So, what did I end up getting at Gen Con, since we're kind of wandering through a very boring and dull Gen Con? Thank you for the question, Tony. Yep. Yep, hello, we have people who tried to murder us. Hang on, let me put on auto combat. Auto combat. What spells do you have? I'm out of all my other spells. I have a feeling that even though I have rested, I haven't actually rested. I have Detect Magic and I have Web. Let's throw it back this way. Okay, Web is a single target thing. Got it. I'm glad I turned auto combat on for you so that you could sit there. Okay, so interesting things I saw and picked up at Gen Con. I did basically, in terms of art, basically RPGs and things like that. I stopped by the Paizo booth and picked up their new Player Core 2 book, as well as picking up some amazing art. Basically, some prints done by Wayne Reynolds, who is the primary artist for basically for Paizo and has done some amazing sketches and things like that. And so I was glad to get the opportunity to pick up some of his art. There's nothing there. It's just a kitchen full of just food, quote unquote. Check. So basically after that, I was picking stuff up for a good friend of the channel and ended up. Can I open a door? There's no one here to talk to. Oh, there's a journal entry associated with this. I picked up, basically ended up picking up some fun stuff like the Comic Hunters board game. I picked it up Kids on Bikes, the second edition of that. And that was as a role-playing game I was interested to pick up. Kids on Bike is a relatively, basically, it's a relatively basically small rule book, but has a lot of fun and interesting kind of narrative role playing. It's basically its kind of big thing that it does is that stats are all dice based. So you have a D4 as a stat if you are weak in it, and maybe you have a D12 as a stat if you're really good in it. People may basically, if you're watching the Dimension 20, the Dimension 20 show, Never Stop Exploding, Never Stop Blowing Up, keep blowing up, keep exploding. I always get the name wrong on that. Their explosion boom system is a modified version of Kids on Bikes, modified for an exciting action movie mechanic. So whenever you roll max, I believe, you immediately go up to the next die and keep rolling. So it's a really interesting kind of exploding die situation. So I picked that up. A friend of mine really wanted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. One of the old games, and was really like, oh, hey, if you happen to find one of basically the old game, basically one of those dealers that has lots of old copies of games that got sold and printed in the 90s, go through them and see if you can't find them. But he got incredibly lucky because Palladium this year just brought an entire collection of basically there's some of their old. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games that they had. I have apparently reached the point where I am no longer able to talk to people. All right, walk away. Oh, Restful just exploded. He does that. This is just a really big dungeon that doesn't have anything in it except gully doors who no longer like me. Or Agar, who no longer like me. Are you killing the starting village again? I feel like I might be at this point. So basically, so they had to basically, for whatever reason, Palladium apparently found a crate of those old editions of those games and just had an entire section of them. So I was really glad to be able to pick those up for him. I also picked up the Comic Hunter board game, which that was line con to get. Um, there was a lot. There was a lot of longer lines because Gen Con, as you may have seen, was completely sold out. So there were a lot of, oh boy, there's a lot of people who don't. What is going on in this room? Agar uses Chenfair as some kind of temple. The priest and his acolytes are facing a statue of an enormous dragon with clutches a brass rod in its tail. How do you tell it? An inscription on the rod says, "The justice rod frees dragon from stone to do only good, the world to roam." Okay. Can I convince you not? Nope, they just want to murder. Okay. Well. Oh, darn it. Everyone circle around and we'll talk to these people. Very persuasively. Just go and talk to these people. I love how we're in auto combat and we're just unable to figure out pathfinding. There we go. Now we figured out pathfinding. Now we can auto attack. Okay. I also picked up the second edition of Starfinder. The playtest rules of that are now available, and I did manage to get a chance to play that. And it was a fairly good experience being able to play the Starfinder basically edition rules, which for those who don't know, Starfinder was basically kind of a variant of first edition Pathfinder where they tried a bunch of different interesting ideas where you had different ACs for different types of different kinds of combat. Basically, so you had energy ACs to represent laser combat. You had basically a physical AC to represent being hit. You had some different DCs. You had different layers of hit points and things like that. You had stamina points, your actual hit points. You ran out of, basically, you lost one before the other. And then there was a whole system involved in starship combat that took forever to resolve and didn't scale well and had lots of problems with the early math and things like that. And so, sadly, what it ended up being was that you ended up with this really interesting system that kind of got basically that no one ended up really playing. Yeah, basically no one ended up really playing Starfinder because a lot of what happened, basically a lot of the problem with it was, hey, I love this system, but it takes ages to try to explain to somebody how to play it, and then even when you do explain it how to play it, it takes ages to actually play at the table. And if you end up in a situation where, say, for example, you want to actually, I just dropped that. I want to use it. Can I use this item somehow? If I can drag it onto my portrait. Using the rod here has no effect. Well, it's sad to say I may have murdered all those poor Agar for nothing, huh? No. Okay. The worst part is there's no easy way out of this dungeon either. I have to make my way out manually if I want to. Um, So basically, Starfighter 2 basically they kind of decided, hey, we've got some really cool classes, some really cool world building, a lot of stuff we've done there, but we're not really penetrating. Basically, we're not really making an impact because no one wants to learn this entirely new system that's really complicated. Basically, our target audience basically really likes this new system we've come up with. So why would we force them to basically relearn this whole new system? So when they went to for a second edition, they just kind of they realized, hey, let's just go ahead and make it kind of a module, an expansion, a set of extra classes and world building and things like that for Starfighter Second Edition. So I have the playtest, and I have a playtest adventure, the Cosmic Birthday. And so, as to the question of whether or not it'll be running Lorelink Starfighter 2 on Lorelink Plays, the answer is most likely yes. Assuming the Lorelink players basically are interested in that, I will happily run that system for them because we've already played a decent bit of Pathfinder Second Edition, so it should be relatively easy for them to pick up. So we should have some exciting times with. I've already gotten some spoilers for what the Cosmic Birthday is about, and it is a heck of an interesting plot for an adventure. But we'll see how it plays out. Basically, they have done a decent job of at least making it not feel like Pathfinder with guns. So it's not a whole lot of okay, you just have gun damage and things like that. All the classes have relatively unique feels. They're not all just basically just copies and pastes of Pathfinder classes with a Starfinder hat slapped on a space. This is a space rogue. This is a space fighter. This is a space thief. This is a space wizard. A lot of them have interesting mechanical differences and things like that. You, sir. Nope, I just taunted you. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. Sir, could you leave me out of this dungeon? I'd like to leave. Uh, so basically, I feel like basically the operative is an interesting class that actually does. So Pathfinder 2 classes are completely compatible with Starfinder 2, so there's no point in repeating them. Yeah, that makes sense in terms of it. If you wanted to play a fighter in Starfinder, you could just play a fighter in Starfinder. Um, some of your wounds are healed. Whoop. Um, these people. Um, given that there's no music in here, I might as well just turn the actual pretzel music on. How did I end up back here? How did this room loop? Of course, it's 6:21, so we're probably near the end of this stream. Anyway. This is one of those games that really wants you to map it out. Got it. Okay, well. Let's try exiting this dungeon as I continue to talk. In any case, basically the big things that are happening for Lorelink to wrap this up as I exit this dungeon. Assuming I can figure out how to go out of these doors, because that was a problem I had earlier, was not being able to exit through. Aha, I found the magic pixel. Of course, these people won't go through it because the direct line is blocked, and so they are, of course, stuck. So next week we will likely return with planning. Basically, we actually do have a Lorelink Plays adventure already scheduled for the end of August. And I don't have access to my calendar immediately to be able to look that up. Basically, if someone wants to grab that date and time and throw it up in the chat, that will give you the details. These people are going to walk right into the... Yep, saw that coming a mile away. The worst enemy of 4 How could we possibly defeat? Like there's some interest in doing Starfinder. Oh, so we may do that. Basically, so what that would likely mean is that next week would be a Starfinder plan. Basically, going through Starfinder Second Edition. How? This map is a... The Agar are such a childlike race that they don't understand physics, and so they have broken physics in order to actually build this dungeon. I get it now. This makes perfect sense. Never mind. Cool. Let's just exit back this way. It's fine. Alright. See if we can't exit here. So that would likely mean I would be talking about Starfinder 2nd Edition next week. Basically planning it out, showing off some of the new features in Lore Link, basically the world tier, which again, basically those who have been listening to this for a while, basically Lore Link is exiting early access. Basically we're slowly phasing out. Basically the first part of that is making the world tier, which is our basic tier, our free tier, in fact, publicly available. So if you go to our Get Started page, you'll find a link right there, and you can sign up for an account. And now I'm in the kitchens. That is not where I expected to end up, but sure. Basically, so you could sign up for that free account, and be able to start creating campaigns in Lore Link right away. You won't have basically some of the more complicated features. Do I need to figure out how to exit this place at some point? But basically, like, our template system is not available, our map hotspot system is not available, and when it becomes available, player sharing will be limited. Basically, for GMs who could share their campaign, will have to have accounts above the world tier. Note that basically, if you were part of our Kickstarter and got access to Lore Link at basically through that, basically if you subscribe to their level above basically above the free world tier, you now have access to, basically you'll have access to player sharing here this month. We will have more information about that when it goes live, so keep an eye out for that. All right, now I think I'm back where I think I am, and I think this is where I wanted to go to try to get to the throne room. Let's try that. Above world tier is Galaxy, Universe, and Multiverse. Correct. Thank you. So those basically, that will enable you to share your campaign with your players. So you'll be able to let them see basically items that things lore you've created, basically player characters. They'll be able to add notes to things you shared with them. Okay, now we're definitely stuck on the wall here. Let's move off. We'll figure this out. The magic pixel is there. It's right there. Maybe. Hit. So we're in this. It's worked everywhere else in here. I really feel like this door is just, you're not able to actually go through it. Unless you're causing problems because you're too close. Walk away, get the lady some room. Okay, back off. Like, I'm determined to get out of this room. To exit the room this way, because it just bugs me that I cannot. In fact. Nope, I think it's just a lie. You can't actually leave the room this way. That's another way you could turn auto combat on, huh? Interesting. Okay. So that is coming soon. For those who are interested about basically convention appearances and things like that, Lorelink does not currently have planned any other convention appearances at this time. However, I, Mark Delacroix, will be running panels at a convention called Anime Magic. I'll be running 4 panels, one on Dungeon Master, basically DMing 101, one on how to select a game when your players want to play something other than D&D, a panel on Japanese RPGs, because it is an anime convention, so basically how Japanese TTRPGs have taken kind of a slightly different bent in a journey. Basically, they've kind of, what systems are popular over there are slightly different than what's popular over here. Oh, finally we're out. Run away. Alright, I'm going to save this game. Maybe we'll come back to it at some future point. I'm trying to exit. Bad tidings have befallen you. You have failed to heed the needs of the refugees who have put their trust in you. Less than 100 refugees are still alive, and you call your alignment good. Try again and pay closer attention to the needs of those you have sworn to protect. Oh, that is the perfect place to end this stream. Basically, apparently I spent too long in the dungeon, and all the refugees got murdered by Draconians while I was buried in there. I don't know. I blame Lothar and his Lokar and his arguments, and he just wants to leave and wander off. Oh, okay. Well, so in any case, I will be teaching those at Anime Magic up in Chicago. So basically, I also will be running a larger scale Toon D&D game. So if you've heard about those or seen those on stream, if you want to see how to basically taking an immensely deadly first edition module like Tomb of Horrors and then throwing cartoon characters in it who really don't respect the laws of physics and don't really particularly care about having holes poked in them or crushed or dropped into lava or other things, and how that combination is. Feel free to basically catch that panel as well. We'll have more information about that in the coming days. But in any case, that is good. How there goes the additional starting village. Yep. So for so final wrap up. If you are interested in any of this stuff, if you've been entertained by any of this, feel free to follow this channel. Feel free to basically subscribe to this channel, especially if you have one of those free subscriptions through Amazon Gaming. You can throw some of Jeff Bezos' money our way. We will more than gladly take it. But the follow will let you know when we go live again. And basically, if you want to catch those Starfinder streams, as we do those for the rest of the rest of the month, basically that is going to be one of your easiest ways of finding out. You also will be able to find out through the social medias. We are on Blue Sky, we are on Instagram, and we are on Facebook. Some of the less terrible social media outlets which are out there. So basically, if you happen to be on one of those and want to interact with those on a regular basis, unlike our social media manager, I kid. It's his job to interact with it, which means the reason why he hates it even more. But they're all pretty bad. You're not wrong. That is basically, so we will post updates there about things we're doing, about those panels I talked about those updates in terms of, hey, cool new features are coming out. All of those will be on those social media accounts. The other way, if you're like, I don't want to deal with social media, can you just summarize everything you're talking about? Just send me an email once a month? Cool. I've got news for you. We do that. We have a newsletter. It comes out once a month, maybe a couple times extra when we do stuff like announce the world tier. We may send out an extra email, or when we get player sharing added, we may send out an extra email, but that's like 2 emails a month, maybe 3 if it's a really eventful month, but we're not spamming your email box. But that is just, you can hit that get started link, and on the right hand side you can sign up for that. Also on the same page, that same page you just linked, as Streamlabs is really excited to tell us, you can sign up for a world free tier account is right there. Click that button and send. I am not sending out 3 emails a month. Our social media person has spoken, so 2. You get 2. Any more than that, you'll have to wait. Um, Oh, and lastly, if you caught part of this, or maybe if you found it interesting and wanted to see some of the other stuff we've done, there are two easy ways to basically look up our archives of streams and videos and other stuff we've done. One is we have a YouTube channel. It has all of those videos on it, and they're organized into playlists over gaming and planning and actual plays. And that's one way to do it. If you're like, well, I'm really curious, did you run Star Trek? Or did you talk about planning Star Trek? Or talk about planning Fallout? Or maybe that Starfinder adventure I talked about? Basically, maybe did you run Starfinder First Edition? Basically, excellent news for you. We've got a page on our website which is just broken down by all of the examples, basically all of the systems that we have run with LoreLink, and you can just click on that and it'll give you a link to here's the planning streams we did, and here are the actual play streams if we've done those as well. So stuff like Doctor Who or Star Trek and things like that are all available on there. All right. So all of that was a lot of summary, but basically most of all, thank you for watching. Thank you for basically stopping by. If you stopped by for 5 minutes or for the entire time, appreciate. We basically now I will basically head back out and basically head back to work, as it were, and basically we'll catch you next time. Thanks for stopping by.